Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Plot Twist podcast. My name is Catherine. I am coming to you from Berlin, Germany, where thankfully it cooled down a teeny tiny little bit during those last few days. I grew up here and now I live here with my husband and our 3 kids. This is a slow fashion podcast focusing primarily on knitting and today also again on mending. Thank you for checking out this channel. If you haven't before, welcome or welcome back, respectively. Thank you for hanging with me for a little bit. And let me jump right into what I've been making these past few weeks. Just when I said that 2 weeks is a good rhythm for me. Just when I said that, I mean, it was just the second episode, but I was so positive that 2 weeks, that's it. Now I'm filming after 3 weeks. Because last weekend, which is the only time that I can really film, for a host of reasons, I felt really unwell and I couldn't do it. So here I am a week late. I'm gonna do my best and be quick with editing, quicker than I was in the past, so that the video isn't as delayed when it goes up. Right, let's jump right in. I have finished objects to show you. Can you believe it? Okay, here goes. You might recognize this. This is, and I apologize for the light because we're in the late afternoon already. I couldn't record earlier today, so well, we have to make do with what we have. The light is coming in from this direction, which is why I keep looking out on the balcony. It's just a little murky, and the balcony takes away a little bit of the light that's out there. It's that's coming in. So it's a rainy afternoon, which yay, I'm here for that because it was so incredibly hot during those last few weeks. Like, oh my goodness. In the end, I really could not take it anymore. I'm not a summer person, and that was pushing it to the max for me. So now, thankfully, it's cooled down a little bit. I don't want to wish summer away. I keep saying that, and I mean it, but it's hard for me. Summer is so hard for me. And fall must be just somewhere around the corner, so I'm here for it. I'll be sad to see summer go, but I'll be happy for cooler weather and rain. I love rain. Okay, anyways, which means that I'll get a chance to wear this, I hope, in the nearer future. My sweater is off the needles, you guys. Look at this. Ta-da! Here she is. And the ends are woven in, all of them, but they are dangling down here from the hem and the cuffs because all the others are snipped off, or are they? No, because I weave them in and then I leave a little tail. Can you see this? I leave a tiny little tail, then I give the entire thing soak and I block it, which I don't really want to say that, but I soak the sweater in water, squeeze it out, lay it flat to dry, pull it in shape just ever so gently. No needles, no pins, no nothing involved. And then when it's dry, then I snip off the ends, but apparently I haven't yet. But here, they were supposed to remain a little bit longer because I wasn't so sure whether the length of both the sleeves and the body was going to be correct. Because pre-soak, the entire thing is a little scrunched up, and I wasn't sure whether it was going to be long enough. It turned out though, it's just like I wanted it. You know, when you give the yarn a soak, it will, you know, relax a little bit. The stitches will become much more even and just very like smooth, is that the word? And so the entire garment grew a little bit, which is what I expected, and it did happen. And here it is. I think you can see it fine. So that's the sweater. I think it fits very well. The sleeves are not too long. I'm not putting it on because it's definitely too warm for that. The sleeves are not too long. They end up somewhere here. Usually, they could have been a little longer, but I think that I would have folded them back all the time. So that's annoying. So maybe that it worked out just perfectly. And I have not cast on the second stripe sweater, but because I wanted to see if this really, if the measurements are really right on this one. And I think that they are. So I'm always kind of in the back of my mind already casting on, planning definitely. I have the yarn all set aside for it to cast on the second sweater. So let me tell you what this actually is. So if you're a returning viewer, you will know what this is. The Stripes sweater by Andrea Mowry, which I'm going to link down below in the show notes. And I'm going to link everything I talk about down below so you can find everything. I'm going to link my Ravelry page, my Ravelry account down below. My name there is Frau Christ. I'm not going to spell it out for you now. I'm going to just link it so you can find the project pages for my various projects I talk about. And if you have questions or want to refer back to like needle sizes or yarn, please go there and check it out. And I'll also link my Instagram account, which I forgot to say is Katharina Knits. So you can find me there. If you feel like it, Instagram is definitely where I am most active, which is not to say that I'm super active, but this is where you can always find me. And now let's talk about the sweater. So this is the Striped sweater by Andrea Mowry. My husband said it looks like a Christmas sweater, and it definitely does. Once he said it, I couldn't not see it. So for me, Christmas season starts in October, so I'm just got it ready in time, so it has to sit for about a month, and then I'm totally in season, if you ask me. So the yarn that I used, I'm going to be quick about it because I've talked about it before. This berry color is the Loving Path in her, hold on, I don't have the tag with me now, Bloodmoon colorway on the non-superwash fingering base. A joy to knit, really. Thank you, Debbie, for dyeing that beautiful yarn. Hi. This green one is called Monstera, is the Monstera colorway by Homespun House. She doesn't dye this anymore. It's on her non-superwash fingering weight base. And this speckly one is also a Homespun House on her Stellina base, also fingering weight yarn, obviously. And the colorway is Folklore. And I used, you can check on my Ravelry, but I used about 150 gram, somewhere in that neighborhood of the main color. And then I think a good 50 gram of the contrasting colors each. And you can see the sleeves are, hold on. The sleeves are this much long, like 3 stripes longer than the rest of the body. Is that correct? I think it is. So, not that it really matters, but yeah. 2 green repeats and 1 of the Folklore. And I'm really happy I have it off my needles. It went very fast in the end. Can't remember now the needle size that I used. I'm either going to put it on the screen, or you can definitely find it in on the Ravelry page or in the previous episode. In both of the episodes. And yeah, so that's off my needles. You're going to see me wear it in the near future, I assume. So when I had this off my needles, I didn't really know what to cast on next, because do you know that feeling when you get off, when you're done with a bigger project, like a sweater, and then you're like, and now what? Like, what's the perfect project now? And I was kind of hesitant to jump into the next striped sweater, even though I've had the yarn set aside for weeks. But I wanted to see how it blocks out, and I have a sea glass sweater on the needles, which I'll show you in the near future, I'm sure. But that didn't feel right because I had to like search in the pattern like for where I was and what I had to do now, and then it's not really portable for me because you have to change everything every row. And I thought, no, that's not it. And then what? I didn't really feel like sock knitting, and I wanted to finish a few things so that I could clear my mind and also get a bit of space in my shelf where I keep my works in progress, where I keep my projects, also known as works in progress. Oh my God, it's hard talking in English today, or German for that matter. So I had on my needles as a little linen stash buster project, a little towel, a crochet towel, and I finished that. That's what it looks like. Plain and simple. It's a half double crochet. You can see, so this would be a navy blue. It looks a little black on screen, I think. So this is a navy blue as kind of the main color, if you will. I had scraps, and this is a salmon color, and this is like in German we would say like old pink. Is I think you would say mauve, and I tried to fade them. So this is the salmon, and this is the, I want to say mauve color, the pink color, and this is one strand each. So I held them double all the way through, and here I held one strand of each color, and then the blue again, and then I had various shades of green or mint, like here, that I striped and then back again. And I haven't given this a soak yet, so it's a little stiff like linen tends to be, but I'm gonna soak it, and then I thought I'd just throw it in my bag when I'm out with the kids, so that we have, something other than a cloth handkerchief, but like a little towel. Now during summer, maybe not today when it's rainy, but usually when they're on the playground and they play with water, you can use this, or when they eat ice cream, or when they, do anything basically outdoors in the afternoon. I thought this might be handy. And it used up a few scraps. I'm not sure that I'm a fan of the colors in that combination necessarily, especially like the green part here. But I mean, it's a functional thing. I'm not going to crochet around it or anything. There's nothing fancy about this. I just wanted to use up a few scraps, and I did, and that's that. I'm glad to have it off my needles. It was fun, crocheting on it. But I'm not looking back. I'm not a fan of linen, I have to say. This is 100% linen. Lino Muka, produced by the owner of my local yarn store. I'll leave it down below. And what size crochet hook did I use? I want to say 3.5 millimeters. Could be smaller though. And I really did, there's nothing fancy about this. I just went for it. And I'm happy I made something out of those scraps. Even though I don't like the feeling on my hands. Like crocheting linen, 100% linen, is better than knitting it, if you ask me. I knit a top in this yarn, which I have to say was not a fun process, and it's not a fun shirt, but that is not because of the yarn, I think, because there are many things I like about this yarn, and the people that produce it, and the way it is being produced, and all the colors that comes in. It's just that I'm not a fan of linen, I think, generally. And that is just what it is. It's just a fact, and it's okay. And some people love it, and that's perfect. And if you're a linen lover, then yay, go for it. Okay, let me take a sip. Today I'm drinking out of my, can you see this? My Bloomingville cup that I got in Denmark 3 years ago, I think, when we first went to Denmark. We've been 2 more times since, not this year, but the last few years. And yeah, It always reminds me of my first summer in Denmark with my little family. Okay. And I have, believe it or not, another finished object, and you haven't seen it yet. I hinted to it in one of the other episodes, I think in the first one, that I have something off my needles that only needs to be blocked and have all the ends woven in, which I forgot, and I did that now. And this is a Radvent cardigan, and here it is. It's very colorful. Here it is. So this is she. One sleeve and the other sleeve. So there is a whole long story to this. I hope you can see this somehow. So that's one side, and that's the other. It's like cold and warm, right? Like green, blue, and red and pink. And that's how it's like joined together. So, okay, the Radvent cardigan, and I don't remember who it is by. I'm gonna link it below. It's just been a while since I have held the pattern like in my hands. Is a cardigan that you knit, you start at one sleeve, increase your way up through these, how do you call them? Kimono sleeves. Then you pick up stitches, or take up stitches to go down here, like from the underarm up until here, and then you knit in rows, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, cast off a few stitches, cast them back on. Is that right? Yes, it is. No, hold on. You knit to the middle of the back, like up until here, and you then start the entire other sleeve from the other side. Knit your way up, 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 up. Pick up those extra stitches down here. Make your way to the middle of the back, and then you Kitchener the entire thing together. I think that's how it worked. And I chose this, hold on, this green color. It is a very dusty kind of green for as the kind of, I want to say main color, even if it doesn't really make any sense, like for the sleeves, for the cuffs and the neckband and the ribbing at the bottom, which in my case became very long. Here, it's sizable. It's a really long piece of ribbing attached because I didn't want it to be that cropped. Had I known before how short it was actually going to be, I would have picked up more stitches before. Oh my God, this is such a mess. I'm sorry, I'm not doing such a good job of showing you. Like here in this section where from the underarm you pick up stitches, I might have picked up stitches to go down here because the yarn would have lasted, but I assume since the pattern is made for using up Advent minis, 20-gram minis each, they want to make it last for all sizes so that you don't run out of yarn mid-stripe. So for the smaller sizes, I don't remember the size that I made. Again, sorry, I'm ill-prepared today because this is something I knit really months ago. I only just blocked it and like really gave it a finishing now. It's going to be on my Ravelry page though. Ravelry, that's right. I'm sorry. I should do this earlier in the day, not late in the afternoon. But since I knit one of the medium sizes, I don't know which one now, I could have, I think, cast on more stitches here and the yarn would have lasted. So, well, not the end of the world. And so I made the ribbing very long to kind of accommodate, because like I said in the past, I'm very tall and it would have been really short on me. And I didn't like the look of it. And I didn't like the feel of it because it's wool. And if it's so short on me that it's going to be cold, both warm and a little chilly, I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I just wanted to have it be a little longer. And so I had a whole lot of minis from the Advent calendar exchanges with my friend Claire. Hi. And from my last year's Homespun House Advent calendar. And when I opened the calendar, a Homespun House calendar that is, I thought she was actually dyeing a fade. There were some colors that didn't do that really don't fit in at all in the sense of the fade idea. But many colors were so similar in tone and just had like this one little extra color, extra speckle added that I thought this is really, she actually dyed a fade Advent calendar. And I thought, this might be kind of nice in this kind of project. So I paired together those colors from the Homespun House 2021 Advent calendar that I thought fit together best with a few colors from my friend Claire that I thought filled in the gaps kind of, and they complemented these two calendars, or it was actually hold on. I think I picked from my stash of like Advent calendar yarn that I had from Claire from recent years. But like they complemented each other. So I threw all of them together and just paid attention that I had enough yarn and the respective color for like the section that it was in the cardigan. So the smaller skeins went into the sleeves and the larger ones into the body. And that worked out fine. And so here on both sleeves, I start off with the same yarn, and that is a yarn that Claire gave me, and she knit a jumper for my daughter out of this for when she was born, and very little, and she wore it. It was so cute. So I wanted to incorporate this yarn because it's precious, right? And I put it on both sides. So both of them start with that color. And then one side goes, from this very light pink into, more of lilac, purpley, pink tones. And then this is not a perfect fade, I know, but I wanted to put this somewhere in there. And then it starts to become a little brighter, and it moves on to this, hold on, holding it upside down, to this very these very red stripes. You can maybe see that this is actually two stripes. Maybe you can see that. The one is a bit more saturated than the other. And I know this is too dark, this is not a perfect fade, but I thought it is a fade idea, right? And then there is, it's a little see-through, so, and then it transitions nicely into the teal colors. And I know this is a bit of a break with stripe that actually consists of two colors, two teal colors. I love teal, so I don't mind it. Can you see this? There's a little ridge here, like a little line where two 10-gram minis are joined together to make to make a 20-gram mini. And then there is a pretty harsh break here. I thought later I might have left out the teal and went for like this sort of a combination instead. Can you see this for this transition? But I don't mind. I really don't mind it at all. I don't at all. And then it goes into the blue-green tones. And there, I was really not sure where to place this color, because if you switch them around, it's not as smooth as you might think. I think this is because I ripped back in one place, no, it was in the red section, to actually change two colors because I did not like it. And I thought they really don't make sense in this, what's it called? Sequence, but I have to switch them up. Once I ripped back. I don't recall now which ones they were, but it looked funny somehow. And here I left it as it is. Like, even if there is a break, because these two seem to belong together and then these two seem to belong together, but I didn't care. And I thought, it is what it is. it still fades somehow into the lighter colors. And then there is a very light blue, which now it just looks gray to you, I think, but it is a very light blue, and then comes together with a very light pink. And I like the idea of both of the sleeves, you know, ending on the same color, because then that kind of, for symmetry reasons, I think, so that it comes full circle and that this the fade is closed, if you will, because that soothes my nerves and it made me happy. And it's this precious little color, even though my daughter is much too big now to wear this baby sweater, but you know. So that's my Radvent cardigan. I'm sorry for it being way too messy and big to really like properly show it. I haven't worn it yet because it's obviously way too warm, and when I finished it a while ago, but already then it was like too warm. And so this is a bunch of colors that I couldn't now tell you what they're named, and it doesn't matter anyway because the advent calendar is not, those colors are non-repeatable. But I can tell you what this is. This dusty green that I used for the neckband and like the contrast color, that is called Artischocke. I'm gonna link it below. And the dyers are local to me, so they are Berlin dyers, Frida Fuchs, and I like their yarns very much. I've used them in the past, and beautiful sweater that I have worn the hell out of, but before my last pregnancy and after it, that wasn't, you know, I haven't worn it again. But now in fall, during fall, I'm gonna wear it and I'm gonna show it, and they have beautiful colors, beautiful yarn quality. I don't now know which base this is. I think Hosenmatz is what it's called. It could be another one though. Anyway, it's all on the Ravelry page, so if you're interested and if you're local, and you want to go check them out, you definitely should, and you're going to find everything there. So that's that. That's my Radvent cardigan. If you're interested in that pattern, it's going to be linked down below, and I can only recommend checking it out because it's such a cool idea. And if you like to this shape and to join it in the back, obviously you don't have to use minis. You can use whatever you have, or if you have a lot of scraps flying around and you want to throw them in there, so then that's fine too. And I was thinking about, you know, maybe choosing a whole different color palette and making it a little longer, so because that might be fun. But it's not a cardigan that closes, right? It hangs open, like it doesn't close up. The pattern suggests that you have a button, like say around your belly button, and then you close it there to like give it a little structure and like hold the thing together. I don't mind it flying open, and the ends are not so long that they're in the way all the time. So yeah, that's just the style that it is. Okay, done. All right. I already said that I was somewhat undecided of when I cast off the stripes sweater, like what to do next, what to cast on next. And sometimes it's such a clear decision and a smooth transition, and then you cast on something new, and then you're all in on this one. But it wasn't like this now. And I thought, oh, so now what am I going to do? What am I going to knit on? What am I going to do? Which project is the right one? And I didn't want to cast on anything and then just have it laying around and not feel right, because that's it's a feeling that stresses me out when a project is not right for you. I was in that spirit of getting a few projects off my shelf that have been there for a while. And so I thought, okay, if I don't know what to do, I can use the one evening to put another square in my Cozy Memories blanket. And I did that. And the next evening, same thing. And I thought, okay, so let's add another square. And then I thought, okay, so there are not that many more that I have to put in there before it's the size that I wanted it to be. And I realized how desperately I want it off my needles, in the sense that I want for the blanket to be ready for fall. So that when it gets cold, we can, snuggle up under the blanket. It's not huge, but a big enough couch size, I want to say. And I just wanted to have it. I want, present tense, it's not off my needles, but I want to have it off my needles. It's been a long project, obviously, because it's a scrappy blanket, and I keep, adding stuff whenever I feel like it, mostly in the fall, winter. But interestingly now, it's my summer project. When I'm complaining about the heat, I pull out my blanket, which is almost done. I'm one of those people, I knit on whatever it is that I want to knit on during summer. I don't have like small cotton or linen projects or just socks. I don't do that. I knit on a sweater, regardless of the season. And I pull out my blanket when I feel like it. And I do feel like it during summer. So that's what I did. And there's no way I can show you this now. There's a page that also, a photo, that also doesn't really show it on my Instagram account. That also doesn't show it, like, I don't really know how to photograph such a big blanket, and then the lighting's always going to be a little weird. But it's you can see the full the state of the project that it's in right now. It needs another 11 squares, and I'm doing 34 by 34, and then a 35th in the middle, because you need one extra stitch, right? And if you don't know the pattern, or if you've never knitted, you basically cast on, or if you already have a few other squares, pick up always the same amount of stitches. For me, that is 34 and fingering weight yarn, one at the corner where the 4 colors all come together, and then another 34 along the other edge from the selvage edge that the little nubs create here, like the garter ridge, these little bumps. That's where you pick out your new stitches from out of, you know what I mean. And then you pick them up, you knit back, and so the next round you start decreasing 2 stitches in the middle. So if I pick up 34, 1, and 34, I knit all the way back and knit 33, knit 3 together, knit 33. That's how I do it. Because when I learned how to do this, I didn't really know how to do that decrease. What is it? Slip one off, knit 2 together, and pull the slipped stitch over so that 2 lean in this direction and 1 leans in this direction. But I just simply knit 3 together. And it has been, I have to say, it has been a while before I realized I'm doing it, this decrease wrong. Because what I just didn't figure out that I'm only just knitting 3 together. But eventually I did, and I thought, oh, so now what do I do? And I do like the effect though. So there is this little ridge or is it a ridge? Yeah. In the middle, it's just a little bump. See? There isn't much of a visible decrease, but you just see a little bump here. Do you see that? Can you see this? It's hard to show. And obviously I'm mid-square, so I'm using impossibly pointy wooden needles that I got 2 years ago in Denmark. Don't know the name. I think it's the brand. I think it's a no-name brand that they had, and I just got them to knit socks, and they are very sharp and pointy, but good to pick up the stitches from the selvage edge. So I use those for now when I picked up the blanket again. And I'm currently unraveling a sock as I go. That is Mondim sock yarn. and I don't know which colorway, but just their pinky one. I put in, so hold on, I put in this square last night. And I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna try and show you a little bit of that blanket. So, see? It's a really hodgepodge mix, a wild mixture of all kinds of yarns that I used, sock yarns, commercial sock yarns, merino yarns, hand-dyed fancy schmancy ones, leftovers that all kinds of people send me in FiberShare or in Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, or friends of mine that included them, you know, whenever they sent me something, or my mother-in-law who, you know, keeps giving me her scrap sock yarn and whatnot. So all of this ended up in here. This is where, oops, I have to, you know, close that gap to the corner here. And I don't actually know. This is another one that I recently knit. There's another little ladder. This one, which is Zauberball. This is again Mending, the yellow. Hold on, now I need to maneuver this. Here you go. I knit this recently. And this too. And this green one. And I think this one, no, this has been there for a while. I don't know, but see, look at it, how big it is. Whoop. So that's the blanket. And I'm dead set on finishing this by September. No, hold on, by the end of September, by September. That would be, wow. That's the push goal. That's the advanced goal. That would be perfect by September. But there is one thing. It's not enough to finish those 11 squares. And if I'm good, I can finish one in a day. Sometimes I need a day and a half, 2 days, depending on like how much time I have in the evening, because I usually only get to knit when the kids are in bed. And right now they are not that easy to get to sleep, if you know what I mean. So when I have all of the squares, the entire thing squared off, so, you know, just a perfect square. So that'll be, I measured it today. It's 1.55 meters in each direction. So length and width. And how many squares are there? I think 12 in each direction. At any rate, I wanted to do an I-cord border, an I-cord bind off all around. So I have to pick up all the stitches from the selvage edges all the way around, and then you knit that I-cord. And if you've knit an I-cord, you know that it takes forever. So I assume it's going to be a week before I have this I-cord finished. But I want to give it a little finish. I think it would be nice. And an I-cord is a nice stretchy finish. I think it's just right for Cozy Memories blanket. So, yeah. So that's what I want to do. But that means I'm going to have more than, I think I figured it was 1,600 stitches on my needles, live stitches. So I thought, I don't even have a needle for that. Like, how do you have a cord that's long enough? And I'm just gonna have to work with different sets of needles, you know, all the way around, and make sure that they don't, not all of that the stitches don't all slide off the needles. So that's going to be something. That's going to be an adventure. And if I can't take pictures throughout the process, I will and put them in Instagram, or I might spare you the extent of the disaster. But I'm sure in the end, I'm very happy to have this really finished, not just finished in the sense that all the squares are in there, but finished off and polished a little bit so that it's nice, and so that's that. Look at me. Okay. Yes, that's one work in progress. Folklore knitting, and only for that occasion, but I did knit on it during those last 3 weeks, so I'm going to show it. I pulled out the Rainbow Connection socks, my second pair that I'm knitting out of that I'm knitting with that pattern. The second pair of Rainbow Connection socks. It's a pattern by Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady. I'm going to link it all down below, and it's such a fun pattern. But I'm not into sock knitting right now at all. It was just when I pulled out for car knitting, because I could not knit in the car. That was impossible. So that is the pattern. I'm going to leave it so that you can see both the back, which is just stripy like this, and the front panel. So this runs down the leg and the foot, and this is the back and the sole. See? Isn't that nice? It's such a cool pattern. I admired it on her Instagram account when she published it a while ago. And I thought, that is so cool. Like, that looked so amazing. And it looks fancy, and it's not hard to knit, and it's easy to memorize. So it's nothing that you need to refer back to the pattern all the time. And I like the effect of those stripes and those stripes meeting. It's just fun. I think it's just beautiful. And there's a teeny tiny little bit of a danger there that I have more fabric here than here, because if I put it like this, you can see that it bends forward a little bit. Then again, and I already try and make, like, don't go too tense on these, but I'm not a tight knitter, so I don't know. It's just, these are slipped stitches and these are not, so it's just bound to happen. But I think if you wear it on the foot, it's not going to make a difference. And in the car, I finished the heel, which, yay. But I just went for an, I don't know what I think that's what the pattern tells you to do. But I always go for a heel flap and gusset. The heel flap and the turning the heel, and then the gusset. Decreases have actually not been knit yet. So you continue that, the vertical stripes on for the foot now. So that's where I'm at. Ugh, can you see this? If you've knit a sock, and if you've worn a sock, you will know what this is. So this is a 2.25 millimeter needle. My Knit Pro Zings, or Knitter's Pride if you're in the States or Canada or wherever, but here in Europe they're called Knit Pro. I enjoy them very much. I'm a magic looper always. I don't like DPNs. I don't know why I bought DPNs in Denmark in the first place. It's not that I don't like them. I used to knit with DPNs all the time until I figured out that there was such a thing as magic loop, and then I was completely sold on this. Okay. Anyways, I'm moving on to what I've been mending. I don't have any current mending projects. I wanted to say on the needles, but you don't have them really on the needles. But I have mended something. And last week I told you what I meant to mend, and now I'm going to show you what I did of that pile. So first, so that you know what I'm talking about. These are my middle son's house shoes. He needs them for kindergarten, and you can see that they have been mended before because his older brother used to wear them in kindergarten. So I knit this patch in, picked up stitches from the actual shoe after I'd cut out the patch that was, or the portion of the shoe that was gone. And I knit a garter, like a little garter panel here, which is now also well worn. Then there is this little mend, which in this light you cannot really see. This little mending around here, the edge. And And now what did I do on this shoe? I think oh, there's another little hole that I have to close. I think I mainly closed up just little holes in the, how can I show you this? On the tip of the toe where, oh man, the lighting is really bad. I initially sewed on this little flower, but now you can see that there's stitching around it as well. Tried to hide it a little bit, and also nobody's going to care. But this is good to go again. And the other one, somewhere there was a little more mending to be done. So anyways, this had to be mended here, but also, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe. And it's such a satisfying experience to see these items last for years afterwards, not just for like 2 months until, you know, and then they come undone again, but really last. And I didn't have to do much now. It's so well hidden that I can't really tell you. Oh, I think there was a little hiccup here, like a little hole. And I mended the tip of the toe also on this one, where again I had embroidered this little flower, but it came undone, and I just sewed it up now. It's not much to show, but they're good to go again. Aren't they so cute? And I said not last week, but last time around, how I find it so fun that I can, my daughter's coming home, Mama. I can hear her. How it's so fun that I can actually tell stories about the different patches. And it reminds me of the ages that my kids were in, and my older son was in, when he wore the shoes so much that I had to actually fix this. Oh, her tiny little feet tapping through the hallway. So cute. So yeah, I can really see him like sitting there with like one foot always tucked under this one, playing and playing and playing in kindergarten. And this is what patches do, and what mending means, right? That the items keep those memories. So find something in your life this week that you can mend. Do yourself the favor. Yes, sometimes it's annoying, and sometimes it's a lot of work. And this week, these past few weeks, I mended again. I closed like little holes in t-shirts, and oh, that is annoying. It's just annoying. It's not fun. It's annoying. To me it is. But projects like this one, so fun. And find something that you can mend. It doesn't have to be a piece of clothing, even though that is so much fun and it has so much value, because fast fashion is such a climate killer, and it's just so important. I don't know if you can hear her. It's so important to live more of a slow fashion mindset, where it's not like you have to buy all the things all the time, but you have stuff and make it last, right? Ja, ich komme gleich zu dir. Sweetie. What was I saying? Yeah, I was saying, find something to mend. Like, find something that you can repair, and that you can give a second life, and that you can make nice again and pretty again and useful again, or that you can repurpose or upcycle or whatever you want to call it. It is so gratifying. And so, you know the story of this little jacket if you've watched the last episode. Oh, pretty color on screen. So this is a little green jacket that that we just have for our daughter for this fall, and we got it secondhand, and it was all undone around the cuffs on both sides. And if you want to see what it looked like before, go check out the last video, the mending section, and you can see the state that it was in and the plans that I had. And now she's actually knocking on the door. So I knit a little rectangle that was wide enough to cover all that had come undone for both sides, right? the patches were really about the same size. And I knit in garter stitch, just a plain garter rectangle, folded it over, tucked it in, sewed it on, done. That's it. That's the entire story. And you can see it. It's a little wonky here and there, but I don't care. It's just a cuff for a little girl who's going to play in the sand with it. And, so nobody's going to care. This is what it looks like. I hope you can see in this really murky light that we have. And then again, folded it over, sewed it on with the machine, and I wove in the ends. I left the tails on both sides, and I sewed them in, wove them in, sewed them on, whatever you want to say, once the patches were on. And on the other side. So that's the situation here. And this is where it got a little wonky with the machine. And can you see this? But I didn't care. I did not want to unpick it. And again, that's the inside. I'm happy with it. I mean, it's functional, and it's a little pretty too. And it's also, there's a certain symmetry to it because it's the same on like both sides, right? It's the same mend with the same squares on both sides. So yeah, that's that. That's the little green jacket that I gave a second life. And I keep thinking I'm so glad it ended up with us, because others might have just thought it was too shabby now, or it was gone, or wouldn't know how to mend it, because not everybody, is creative in that way, or is secure with their creativity in that way, even though what can go wrong? Nothing can go wrong. You can always undo it. You can always seek help if you think you messed it up. And it's always just going to tell a story, and if the thing is broken or undone, if the seam is kind of come undone, it cannot get any worse. It's already, it needs attention already. So if you try it and you think you've messed it up, you're in the same position as you were before, right? So you really have nothing to lose, is what I want to say. And I don't really know how, but yeah, not everybody would have known what to do, or not been brave enough to just do it. And yeah, and I'm glad that it ended up with us. And I thought, oh, perfect. That's an opportunity for me to save a piece of clothing here. And it's a wool jacket. I mean, it's a good piece of clothing. Done. Shoes, done. And then, and I'm going to talk about it in a minute, I did quite a bit of decluttering over those last 3 weeks, and stumbled across an apron for my grandmother. And I had kept that apron. I didn't know that she sewed it, but it is definitely hand sewn. It's just a small little apron, and I have had it for a long time. It wasn't her possession. I never saw her wear it. I don't know that she made it, but someone did, and I didn't want to just give it away for stupid reasons, really, just sentimental. It's not even that I saw her wear it, but I just wanted to keep it because I thought it was so cute. And then I thought, now when I had it in my hands again, and I thought, this is ridiculous, because I've been moving with this thing and I never once wore it. I never used it. It's not something I will use. So it's really stupid to keep it. So the kids are not going to use it. Nobody does. I can't afford to keep stuff that just clutters up my house. So it has to go. And I thought, I don't want to let it go. And then I thought, okay, so if I don't want to let it go, I want to keep it, but I'm not going to use it, I have to make it into something that I'm going to use. And again, I thought, I have nothing to lose. So if I try and upcycle it in some way or repurpose it in some way, and it doesn't turn out the way that I wanted, so what? I mean, then I'm not going to be any in a worse position than I was to begin with. So I might just try it. And it was really a 10-minute project, and it's a funny little project. And it's a very raw little project, but I did it and I made it and it's finished and that's what counted. And now I'm going to see if I'm going to use this item. So I'm going to show you. This is half of the apron. See? And this is the other half. And again, I need to mend this because somehow this little lace came undone. I need to mend this. So it was this was the apron, and those were the strings. Those were the strings. And I folded it, in the middle here. And I sewed on this, is that bias? Is that what you call bias tape? That, the edging here. I sewed over that white piece so that it wouldn't flap open and it wouldn't show, you wouldn't see the line. And just sew the back. So this is it. You can open it like this. And yes, it's roomier in the top and the bottom than it is up on the top, but that's what it is. That's the string you would have used to tie around your waist or your hips. And I took both of these strings, folded and just attached them to in the middle, So I attached those strings that you would have tied around your waist here in the middle so as to make straps so that you can actually carry the bag. That's how I have to show it, not up close. That's what it is, right? And I know it looks a little funny, but it is a funny little project. And it was my attempt to keep something and not throw it away and see whether I want to use it as a project bag, because I thought it actually holds a lot of yarn. There is space for a lot of yarn, and it's nice because you can keep a pattern in here or hand balm or whatever it is that you want to carry around. Or if I leave the house, I can put my phone in here or whatever, right? And on the other side as well. So I thought it's really kind of cute, and I might as well try and give it a new life and see if I use it in that repurposed state or not. And I'm just going to finish it off with sewing on this lace that has come undone, and then let's see whether I use it in that repurposed state. But I couldn't let go. I couldn't throw it away. I don't know why. It's stupid really, but it's what it is. Okay. And then, like I said, I've been decluttering quite a bit over those last few weeks. I've watched The Minimal Mom on YouTube, and I'm going to link her. And if you don't know her and you are at all interested in decluttering and reducing inventory, which I'm all about reducing inventory, because we are 5 people in a 3-bedroom apartment. We need to reduce inventory. And part of this endeavor is knitting my stash, using what I have, and being really mindful about all kinds of things that I let into my house. Right. Okay. So, you guys, I have to start the section anew because my daughter, while I was filming this little segment on decluttering, my daughter stood in front of the door crying. And it was so heartbreaking, and she wouldn't stop. I mean, she was with her dad. It's not that she was alone, but I had to stop and go be with her. And then we ate, and now my husband is taking her to bed. So I'm finishing up this episode even later in the day, which next time I have to find an earlier spot, I'm realizing. But I can finish it up now, so that's good. Right, I wanted to talk about decluttering because I've been decluttering a lot during those last few weeks, a lot. It's a hobby of mine, which is a weird thing to say, but I just enjoy decluttering immensely. I enjoy the process of going through my things and thinking about whether or not I actually need something. I still need something, use something, take some sort of pleasure in it being there, and whether I actually want to store it. It's not And I do realize that's privilege talking, right? That we have enough stuff so that we can go through it and see whether we enjoy having it. I mean, that's a ridiculous problem to begin with, right? But I think people have never had so much stuff in their homes as we do today, and that can be a problem. That can cause various problems. And I like decluttering for it, simplifying my life, for the space that we can regain, for the processes, like letting go of stuff. I just like decluttering. I just like it. It makes me feel like I don't know. I just like decluttering. Right. And so I've been watching The Minimal Mom on YouTube. And if you don't know her and you feel like decluttering and minimalism is like in any way something that you might be interested in, watch her. She has such good angles on decluttering and on simplifying and getting rid of inventory, reducing inventory, because we in our household, we're all about reducing inventory right now. Because we just have a limited space in our apartment and we're now 5 people living in it. And so we have to manage, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm not complaining. It's just that it needs to be done, right? And it's not easy. It's not easy to do. And most of us did not learn how to do it growing up. And The Minimal Mom is really helpful for me. I mean, the thing, I've been reading about decluttering for a while now, and I've been practicing, like she says, building my decluttering muscles for a while, which is to say for a couple of years, and I've seriously decluttered, but still I find her videos very helpful, her angles very helpful. She uses metaphors and imagery that's very helpful for me, where I hear my brain go click, click, I got it again, I got it, because yes, you need to practice decluttering. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And still, that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, right? Because there are some things that are easy to declutter. Like a book you read and you didn't like, that can go. Toys your kids no longer need, those can go. But then there's stuff that's not so easy, right? And I find myself sorting through the same categories of inventory again and again and again, a couple of times a week, because it just needs practice, and you just need to look at the same things over and over again. And then you'll realize like, oh, I can let go of this that a week ago I thought that was a sure keeper, Anyway, so this is a topic that fascinates me endlessly because it's so closely tied to psychology. Like if we let go of stuff on the outside, we get ready to let go of stuff on the inside too. Like these two are so closely linked. Often go hand in hand, but like from what I read, you let go of physical stuff and then you let go of emotional stuff. So perfect. And so I've been decluttering. That's that. If you don't know The Minimal Mom, just go check her out because very helpful, very fun. And they call themselves, she and her family, they call themselves themselves minimalists, but that doesn't mean that they don't have things. And that is so cool because minimalism sometimes is about like, I feel like it can be daunting, it can be weird, it can feel like, oh my God, I'm not sure I want to live that way with like 1 cup, 1 spoon, 2 pairs of pants, 2 shirts, and that's that, and she shows her house and her stuff and her 4 kids and like how they homeschool and how they do everything, and it seems like a perfectly normal household. You're not like, oh my God, they don't have anything, how do they do that? But they have stuff, you know, and yet it's a minimal household. And, you know, that it's very cool. Like, it's very encouraging, I feel, to me, when I feel like with kids, many of these minimalist approaches for me, for us, don't really make sense. And I'm not sure I want to live that minimally. But when I see her and her family life, I feel like, oh yeah, I know that it can be like that. That's cool, you know? I'm babbling now, but I really encourage you to go check out her videos. They're so much fun. And really so helpful. And so I decluttered all across the categories, only my things, not my husband's stuff, but he decluttered some things as well. And I let go of some of the kids' stuff, but I always asked them and said, like, this is something you haven't played with like ever. This was a gift, but you know, or you've really outgrown this. What do you think? You want to sell it? You want to donate it? And they agreed. I mean, they're good declutterers, I feel like. And I find it so important to practice with them so that it becomes second nature, that they just see, oh, I haven't used this in a while, might as well let go, right? And I was good with my decluttering because I thought, you know, one of the first rules of decluttering is once you've decided that an item can go, make sure that it leaves the household, you know, that it leaves the house, that the physical object doesn't linger, because then it will clutter up your house even more. And this energy that you've just freed won't flow, etc., etc. So I thought, okay, I need the space. I want these things gone. I want the burden off my shoulders. And I just put box after box after box in front of our house every day, like a few bags full and a few like sort of like trays with even like stuff from our kitchen, put them in front of the house. And we live in Berlin, so there's many people walking by. And many things were gone by 6 p.m. And then I took the rest back upstairs, and then the next day, same thing. The boxes were full again, the bags were full again. I put them in front of the house. And I mean, that sounds massive now, but it was a ton of stuff. And yet it's not like our house is empty now. And also it's not like we have that much stuff, but it's just that we have 5 people in 3 rooms. And so we need to just reduce some inventory, right? And I mean, I studied literature, so I have a lot of books still, even though I have gotten rid of a lot of books. I still have many, or have had many. And now I think I got rid of another like 3 shelves worth of books. That's a lot for me. I think it's a lot for anyone. And it feels very good. And I got rid of the stuff right away. If there was stuff to sell that really was worth something, and so enough to bother keeping it in the house, I sold it. There's still a few things that we are in the process of selling. Then there are like 2 or 3 things that I'm keeping for family members for when I meet them next. I'm gonna pass it on to them. And yeah, that feels so good. So again, I want to encourage you to just get going with your decluttering. If it's something that you've been putting off or didn't know where to start, or there are all these challenges like an item a day for a whole month. And what it does is you have a box full of stuff in the end. But what it also does, and that's so much more important, is that you build those muscles, that you just get in that mindset of, do I still need this? You wake up and you're like, okay, so what could I declutter today? And it can be some small thing from your kitchen. It can be something from your bathroom. It can be like you can declutter one category, like Christmas ornaments or whatever, you know? And it becomes, if you're a challenge person, which I definitely am, becomes like a challenge for yourself, or like a game, and gets you going and gets that mindset all strong, you know? So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And when I took a stroll with my daughter, someone in the neighborhood had as well decluttered, and they had a box in front of their house and stuff that you could just grab. And I know I was all about reducing inventory, but I kind of couldn't resist. They had this cute little wall hanging, which I picked for the kids' room. And I think someone handmade this. Look at this. And I took this home from the box with stuff that was to be gifted, and took it home. Okay, there you go. Isn't that so cute? I thought it was so cute. And look at how the background is embroidered or stitched. Isn't that so cute? And those little, what's this? Chickens? I thought this was so darling. And I wanted to take it home and put it up in the kids' room, which I haven't done yet. I washed it, and now we're good to go. Oh, the back. So I think it's really hand sewn. See? I mean, this looks handmade, doesn't it? By someone who knew what they were doing, but handmade nonetheless. So cute. I thought it was so cute. So as I was decluttering, I took this little thing home, and I'm going to put it in the kids' room on the wall. Yeah. I was thinking of doing a Q&A because I got questions popped up in the comments that I wanted to answer. And I thought maybe but I think so this little section that I had planned for today, I'm going to move it over to next week because this was already a lot of stuff. And I do not want it to be a 2-hour episode today. So I'll save this for next time. And if any of you guys have more questions for me that you want answered in a little Q&A segment, leave them down below in the comments, and I will pick them up sooner or later. And just, I might work a little Q&A segment into every episode, I thought, and answer like 2 or 3 questions as I go. How about that? That might be fun. I was so touched that you actually have questions, like people actually want to know stuff about me. So if there is something that you feel like you want to ask me, ask away. Just leave it down in the comments, and yeah, and as of the next episode, I'll work it into the program. Right. Oh yeah, current obsession. So I feel like this is a segment that will never go because it's very much, I'm always obsessed with something. So it used to be Ambah. And when I looked into what else, Johnny Flynn, the actor, who I think is a very good actor, and I have a thing with acting. I like movies for the storytelling, which is what links it to literature. So that is very, I like movies and shows for storytelling, period. But I'm really a little, almost nerdy about acting. I just enjoy good acting. I love seeing good actors. I wanted to be an actress myself, which is why I have those little, why I'm a nerd in that way, I think. I don't know if nerd is even the right word, but it's a little thing that I have. It's just a thing that I have. And I think Johnny Flynn is just a very good actor. And I looked him up and I thought, okay, so what else has he played? He's Mr. Knightley, and he's really good. He's a really good actor. All the actors in that movie are so good in the Ambah movie, but I think he stands out, right? Or maybe the entire cast stands out because all of them are so good and so good together. The casting of that movie is so good, but I've talked about this before. And then, anyway, I thought I saw that he has a show on Netflix, or has had. I mean, it's not on anymore. That's called Lovesick. And I thought, okay, so awesome. I'm going to check that out. And it's very different, obviously. He's not Mr. Knightley in that show. it's a very different sort of program, obviously. And how can I put this? In the beginning, he's visibly also like very much younger, and he talks at a higher pitch, which I found very interesting because Mr. Knightley talks at a lower pitch, and Johnny Flynn has a little raspy and yet sonorous, deep voice because he's a singer. Like he can, because Johnny Flynn is a singer. Oh my God, I'm not making much sense anymore. Maybe because it's late now, but. And in that other show, Lovesick, or in the show, Lovesick, he talked at a much higher pitch, and I thought, ooh, that's interesting. It changes so much. And I watched the show all the way through, and I thought it was getting better and better and better. And then it will not come as a surprise to you if you've watched the first episode. If you've, if you followed me around, like, I rewatched it, obviously, because that's what I do. I rewatch things, and often immediately. I immediately rewatched it. And it is then that I figured out just how good of a show it is. It is really a good show. Again, very good actors. The three main characters, Evie, Dylan, and Luke, have very good chemistry, and I think they're very well cast. And Luke especially comes across, this is not the Johnny Flynn character, it's another one, in the beginning as a little bit of a shallower character. And he's evolved so much, and this is beautifully played, and is a brilliant actor. I thought it was so well done. And I might be the last one to discover that show, because I told a friend of mine like how in love I was with the show, and she was like, yeah, I watched it a while back. I thought, oh, you did? I never heard of it. And then she rewatched it, and it's such a funny show. Like, she agreed with me that it was really good, really well made. And what I love is that the pilot episode is already very much in tune with the rest. And it's a show that works with a lot of flashbacks in every episode. But that is so well made. Like, it really works. And yeah, so at any rate, it's such a fun show and really well made and beautifully acted, very funny. If you've been wondering, and in case you've watched it, my favorite episode is season 2, episode 1, when they go camping in the woods, because Angus thinks he's inherited a sort of a bungalow, or no, a cottage, I think, and all that's left is, like, I think one wall, something like a shed, but without the walls, like a pavilion, if you will. Or they turn it into a pavilion, and then that episode is so funny. Like, that episode, I feel like, is hilarious. So, and the one which is, I think, season 2, episode 4, where they are at that wedding venue to check it out, whether Angus and Helen want to get married there. That's also a very fun episode. So if you know it, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, maybe you feel like watching it, or you might not, and you will have skipped ahead. Okay, so in other TV news, what we've been watching is, Lovesick, obviously, but only I've been watching this. My husband wasn't as interested. We watched Uncoupled with Neil Patrick Harris, which last time I told you we were going to watch it. And I thought it was fun. It wasn't spectacular, is what I'm saying. I liked it fine. It's not a huge recommendation. Like, if you haven't watched it, you haven't missed much. If you've watched it, it will have been harmless fun. Like, it's a fun show, and if another season comes out, I'm going to watch it, but it's not spectacular. And I also told you about last time how I told you about how I watched Seinfeld in the past, always started with the first season and never really got into it and didn't think it was hilarious, even though I felt like I should, because apparently everybody thought it is hilarious. And now I gave myself permission to like skip the first season and jump right into the second, because I thought it doesn't make any sense watching the same things over and over again that I always paused and stopped and never picked it up again because I didn't thought it was that good, which I feel like I'm not even allowed to say. And then I started with the second season, and I must say I've enjoyed it very much since then. I don't know where I am at now, but at any rate, I thought it was much more fun than the first season for me. It picked up speed. There were very funny episodes, and I don't know, I just watched it whenever, like before I went to bed, or like here and there, kind of. But it was good and entertaining, and there were some very funny scenes. Like there are some, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but there are just certain situations in which I like Jerry Seinfeld a lot, in which I feel like he can do such funny things with his face. So yeah, that was what I've been watching, and I'm going to continue watching it until someday I'm through. And yeah, that's that. Guys, I think I'm going to leave it at that, because this is now filmed in various videos, so I don't know for how long I've been actually talking, but I'm going to just assume that it's been a while because I'm a talker. So I will let you go, and I will catch up with you again soon. And like I said, if you have questions and want to leave something for a little Q&A segment, feel free to leave those down below in the comment section. I would really appreciate it. And but I'm very excited for comments that come in, questions that you might have, and yeah, just interaction. Like and subscribe if you want to, and if you feel like it, come back for another video. I'm already looking forward to recording one, and I hope to see you soon, in 2 weeks, fingers crossed this time. I hope it really works. I think it really works, so I can say see you in fall. Ooh, because by then it will be September, and yay, September is the best month for me by far. Well, it's a close tie with December, but September is my month. So it's just right around the corner. See you in September. See you in fall, or at least it's fall where I'm at. Happy knitting, you guys. Thank you for sticking around, for checking out the video, or maybe even coming back. And yeah, I can't wait to catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye.